Guys, it's Mastery Monday. You'll start with a retrieval task, there'll be a writing task, and you'll finish with a mini quiz. This task you do not need to write down. As there's going to be a quiz, this is a really quick review task. Just pause and contemplate the answers in your head. Could you give a definition for the following words we focused on in Year 7? Malignant, insidious, hubris, contorted, seized, implacable, tenacious. If not, if there are words you don't know, can you spend a bit of time over maybe this week or over half term potentially looking back through your graphic organisers? Maybe pick 1 or 2 words to write a definition for and use in a sentence. Don't if you're struggling with more than 1 or 2, just start off focusing on 1 or 2. In terms of grammatical terms, we're looking at prepositional phrases today. We've learned about where it happened. The technical term for this is a prepositional phrase. Prepositional, and if you notice the red bit in the middle, position, where. Prepositional phrases give more information about where, in what position an accident happened. Definition: prepositional phrases are parts of the sentence and add information to the independent clause. They do not make sense on their own. So if we look at an example, where did Harry sneeze? In the kitchen. Harry sneezed in the kitchen. The red part is an independent clause. It has a subject, Harry, and a main verb, sneezed. It makes sense on its own. The prepositional phrase is the purple or blue part. It doesn't make sense though. It does give more information about where Harry sneezed. Interesting stuff. In the kitchen. Okay, so I'd like you to write down the sentences 1 to 5 in your book. Have a read of them now. 1, Nicholas put his bottle down on the table. 2, at the restaurant, James waited to be seated. 3, Jemima would not sit down in her chair. 4, inside, the room was nice and cosy. And 5, in the corner of the box, 2 mice lay sleeping. Pause the video now and write those down. Okay, so your task is to underline the independent clause and circle the prepositional phrases. So if I'm looking at this first one, Nicholas put his bottle down, I can see that we've got our independent clause there and where it happened was on the table. So that's my prepositional phrase. Pause, underline the independent clauses and circle the prepositional phrases. Great, and here are your answers. You can get a maximum of 5. The prepositional phrases were on the table, at the restaurant, in her chair, inside, and in the corner of the box. A quick correction task. This was a student's solution paragraph from last week. Can you help them identify the errors? I can see I've made an error there as I'm going. Should be a question. Poor Plato knew what he was doing. He was up on his feet. Christina could sense his eyes on her, although she couldn't see him. There was a quiet tension in the air. Kato spoke. I've missed you. Christina drew in a breath. Me too, she said. Tears pricked Christina's eyes. Her dad had finally come round and allowed her to return home. Home, here with Kyoto. So you can print that out. Obviously, you can make corrections on it. If not, you could just write down what the corrections are, the parts. Pause and have a go. I know you can do this. Okay, and there are your answers. This, because it's telling us we've got a subordinated start. We know we need a comma here. And then again, this although was part of a fragment, so I've made it into a full sentence. We've got some speech punctuation. I've put that in because a few people have been forgetting to use their capital letters to start when they do speech. Obviously, your exclamation point there could be something different. It could have just been a comma. Okay, so this is your final part, your happy ending. It is also satisfying if the happy ending is prepared in the opening. So the kind of idea of the happy ending, the couple marry or go to the prom together, live happily ever after, which is the best happy ending for these couples. Sajid is disorganised and always late. Farah is anxious and hates lateness. Sajid starts being annoyed when people are late. Farah starts being late for things too. Farah learns to be calmer and Sajid starts to show up on time. Yeah. So, solution to problems. Whatever you set up, you're going to finish off to create a happy ending for your story. You need to write the happy ending paragraph of your story. You can use words from the vocabulary box: threatened, sacrificed, terrified, inseparable, infatuated, intrigued, determined, romantic. And at the end of it, can you do mastery checks? So I've written consistently in the past simple tense. 2, I've included a prepositional phrase and punctuated it correctly. 3, I've included a prepositional phrase with a list in it and punctuated it correctly. Crafting check. That will be your whole thing. I've written a problem-solved love story in which the happy ending and the solution are prepared in the opening. So obviously that's more complicated because you've already written all the main part. We want a happy ending that resolves all the issues between Christina and Kyoto. We really hope that there will be a quiz for you to complete, and obviously to show to your teachers how much you've learned over this half term. But we really hope that you have a wonderful half term and you enjoy your screen-free time. Goodbye, Year 7.